Thank you so much, Saurabh, for that kind introduction. Let me quickly tell you, 3-minute stuff about what NASSCOM Foundation, the excellent base that Saurabh has given us, what we plan to do. First of all, there is a PR element, and I want to acknowledge that. While we've done many fast-pacing things, including putting India on the world map, we're also seen as being basically extremely rich and elitist. So we need to deal with that, and we are grappling with that issue and want to be involved with Bharat, want to be involved with the inclusive growth story, and that is definitely one of the central platforms for NASSCOM Foundation. The second issue is really a for-profit motive, which is that if there is greater PC penetration, if there is greater internet connectivity, our business goes up. So there is a clear and link to that. If there are more talented, more trained people in PC skills and in computer skills, our labor supply goes up. So there is first a PR motive. Second, there is a for-profit motive associated with our own industry. And thirdly, I think is the issue that we all feel very proud that from a country of kind of snake charmers and wandering cattle and so on, IT has kind of transformed this country, at least at the margin. But can we now take this to make it real across the whole country? Because even in Bangalore, which is the IT capital of the country and so on, at every traffic signal we have barefoot children begging, and that's not the sign of any superpower of any kind. So what do we do in dealing with the 300, 500 million people who are dispossessed and disempowered? And how can we genuinely, from a moral involvement perspective, do it? So I want to be totally honest about the first two motives. There is a PR angle to it. There is a for-profit angle to it, but the third part of the tripod is, I think, and this comes to the point which was made earlier. I think Charu made the point. Basically, a lot of us are not people who started with inherited wealth. We came from fairly solid middle-class backgrounds. So the empathy that the average IT entrepreneur has vis-a-vis the underprivileged is much more than people who had 3-4 generations of inherited wealth, which was a standard Indian businessman in the old permit license Raj days. So I think that's part of the motivation. Look forward to your support. Ambassador Post put it beautifully. We'd like to be the magnet, sir, the magnet that gets all those little pieces of iron together. We see that as NASSCOM Foundation's role. We want to be able to put together the work that all our companies are doing anyway. Everybody knows about Infosys Foundation, Azim Premji Foundation, Biology Foundation. How do we get that into a common theme? And how do we become the catalyst? It seems it's a pretty heady and ambitious thing to say that we're going to use the small industries, things to try and change the face of India itself, rural India, small town India. But in the past we have, when we said we'd make $60 billion and we were, I think $60 million in top line, at that time nobody believed us. So we have achieved some of the impossible. So I believe over the next 5 years we can make a dramatic impact, and public-private partnership is clearly the way. We cannot ignore the government. We can complain about the government. We cannot ignore the government. And we have to work together between the NGO sector, the government sector, and, of course, NASSCOM, which represents the private sector, to make this happen. Let me close with that. We'll spend all day with many other sessions that we've talked. It's now my pleasure and privilege to introduce Professor Jacques Attali, who frankly actually needs no introduction to those of you who have been following the visit of the French President to India recently. Professor Attali is right now advising President Sarkozy as to how he can liberate the French economy. And I do hope, sir, that President Sarkozy will take your advice. He's held many posts in the past. He's been president of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. He's been advisor to the French presidents before. Most interestingly, right now, he heads an organization called Planet Finance, which is focused on microfinance across the whole planet. And it's in that capacity that he's really very interested in the whole development initiative, and like him to sum up this morning's session. Professor Attali.